Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Wars fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the third and final 2-pack in the series of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back Bounty Hunters, produced in the Retro Collection by Hasbro under the Kenner banner, celebrating the original original issues of action figures back in the 70s and the 80s, which the Retro Collection does brilliantly overall in terms of recreating those classic figures without all of the pomp and ceremony of the modern articulation and the modern decos. These are literally sort of the 5-point of articulation and that's where they have a total of 5-point articulation. Some have less. Not these figures, however, which tends to be, as you know, neck, shoulders and hips. This time around we're looking at the last two of these, which of course are the wonderful Boba Fett and Bossk. Boba Fett, as with everyone, I think was one of my favourite original figures back in the 80s. But let's take a little look around this box first. So this is the box in which it comes. We have the 2-figure product shot there of the carded figures, of course with the Retro Collection sticker on, just in case we make an error of judgment for a second to think that they might be originals or packaged up in modern day packaging, at least on the reverse. There are the figures, there are all the languages. Here we have the back illustration where we see the breakdown of the 6 bounty hunters. And a little bit of blurb there for you. Two of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy, Boba Fett and Bossk, have crossed paths over the course of their careers as both collaborators and competitors. Both had undeniable skill, but only one became a legend. I'll let you decide which one that was destined to be. There is some blurb on the side. It just basically says put them in their own action poses or use them with other Star Wars toys. Let's see if it says that both sides. It does, but in an array of languages. So that's all for the exterior packaging, which I'll now pop there out in the back. And over here I've already taken the liberty of bringing these two near legendary figures out of the box and into the real world, and they again look absolutely wonderful. And I'm not going to lie, these are how I remember them, rightly or wrongly. This is how I remember them from the 80s. So we had Bossk, and we also have Boba Fett. And I always remember thinking that I thought Boba Fett looked more like an illustration than a photo. And I still kind of think that now, but I'm sure it is a photo. But yeah, so they are absolutely fantastic. So we'll kick off with a closer look at Bossk. So here is his card back. They have, of course, got that idiotic weathering around the edges. This one's a little bit more haphazard. We have seen a couple be a bit cleaner in terms of just sticking to the outer rim. No pun intended. Obviously, there was a pun intended. But not so much here. It's a bit more obvious here. Just a bit needless, really. We've got Bossk there looking all bosky, and the original figure, well, the reissue of the original figure there. And I swear to you, it's exactly how I remember him, with that head sculpt detailing and the outfit, and of course the rifle that we can only dream he'd be able to hold whilst off doing bounty huntery things. So whilst they recapture the magic of the 80s on the front, the back is far more modern. We can see immediately that both of these figures have been punched, which is a bit of a shame up here. I asked in the last video, and at the time of recording, obviously no one's had a chance to reply, but in case they haven't yet, because I might try and just get these out bang bang bang, I'd really appreciate it if you know what the name of this hole is actually called. It must have a proper name. And I know it's for hanging it on the rail, but it can't be called the hanging it on the rail hole. I mean, it could be called that, but I'd like to think it isn't. Anyway, that's just my mind diverging. The rest of it is all terribly modern. Hasbro and Disney logos on the bottom, just in case anyone actually thought for a second they might be originals. They are not. They also say the year is 2022 when this was produced, so definitely not. But I love the whole aesthetic of it, in case you hadn't previously realized that. And that's why I'm collecting the Retro Collection. I swore to myself, as I had pretty much the entire Star Wars collection as a child, not as much as a lot of people, but I had a pretty fair collection of Star Wars figures, and a few vehicles, but you know, others put me to shame. But I had them and I loved them, you know. And growing up, in some respects, they were the friends that I played with on lonely nights. Don't cry, it's okay, I'm over it. But also, so many of them lost to time. It is an absolute tragedy. So to be able to get them back in this form and this sort of template is fantastic. And that, I think, is really what hooks me and probably other people into the retro collection as well. If that is your reason for collecting the retro collection, assuming you do, let me know down in the comments. And if it isn't, and you have an entirely different reason, please let me know that too. Or if you don't collect the retro collection at all, let me know that too, and let me know your thinking. I'm always interested in the thoughts of other people. Again, the weathering on the side of this one is very well, it's just too much. It's too much. Spoils it for me. I mean, I'm not going to let it, but it kind of does. But this is perhaps the one I was most convinced I wouldn't be able to track down, and yet got with remarkable ease. Admittedly, it's imported. I had to get it from beyond the shores of the UK, but again, not costly at all. I was expecting, if I did find it, to have to pay, if I wanted it, an awful lot of money. That was not the case at all. And in fact, I got all of these box sets, so all 6 of these figures, which is what you would get in a standard, now the standard retro collection box set, for less than the going price for most of them, which is around £70, and I got these for less than £70 in total. So I'm quite pleased with that outcome. I don't mind saying so. But yeah, Boba Fett, here we have him. He's got that rocket on the back. It's not obviously the launching version. This is the retail edition that is exactly as I had it as a kid, and I'm absolutely blown away by the well, not least because I remember vividly that mine ended up having that chest plate had chips all over it, and the yellow flamethrower weapon on his arm was very faded by the time I'd finished playing with it. So much of it had rubbed off. But to see him almost restored like this is absolutely, for me, absolutely fantastic. And I think, again, a key reason this retro collection is so fantastic, and also a key reason that I am very inclined, I don't know if it'll let me do that, I am very inclined to get a second set of all of these, literally so that I can have a set that I keep nice and neat on card, because I do think they look amazing, but also a set that I can open up and then display with their fellow retro collection original trilogy figures. I'm not saying I haven't dipped into the other array of retro collection figures that have been released in the box sets, because I have, but I am really here for the original trilogy, and I would really like us to get an Empire Strikes Back box set, because it is, as of now, in April 2025, the only original trilogy film we've not yet had a box set representing the figures from that particular line, which I just think is curious, especially as they are introducing characters that they never made. So they could, if there is a reason, they could intersperse, as they have done previously, some of those new characters that they never made, but in that retro collection, along with some of the more or less popular original releases. I know it's probably the only way I'm going to end up with a Lobot, but you know, there we are. Anyway, thank you very, very much for your time. I have been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. This has been a little journey through the 6 figures of the retro collection from The Empire Strikes Back, to this particular video looking at Boba Fett and Bossk. If you haven't yet seen the others, do check out the channel, they'll be there, and if you want to drop a like to the video, that'd be fantastic. And if you don't want to miss out on any future Star Wars or Star Trek or Transformers or Doctor Who or Battlestar Galactica or G.I. Joe or goodness knows what else type of toy-based videos, then by all means drop a completely free and obligation free as well like to the channel. It really helps boost me against the wrath of the evil algorithm, and of course also helps me on a personal level get to my next subscriber milestone, for which I will be eternally grateful. Thank you so much for spending the last 10 or so minutes with me. I look forward to seeing you elsewhere on the channel, and it just remains for me to say that things of beauty really are toys forever. Take care. Bye bye for now.